I first and foremost give all praise to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Barakatam. Give us a sincere greeting to the brothers and sisters scattered across the four corners, teaching this word with sincerity and charity. I'm Brother Phineas with Prince of Power Israelites here with another short lesson. This will actually be like a scriptural breakdown. We're just looking to a particular verse. Philippians chapter 4, verse 11. We'll read verses 12 also. And you know what I'm saying, we all understand the Philippians chapter 4 verse 13, the iconic verse. I can do all things through Christ which strengthens me. When I seen it on Bibles, on keychains, on license plates, bumper stickers, etc. We've seen that iconic verse, but we'll look at the two verses that lead into that, because it's important. It's an important message within those two verses, especially in the current state of this country, in the current state of the world, dealing with this pandemic, dealing with the famine and the pestilence and the things to come. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning of the birthing pains. But some of us our state may change. You know what I'm saying? Our state may change. We may not be in the same position that we used to being in. And Paul has an important message about that, so we won't get out of spirit, so we'll understand exactly who we are, exactly what kind of person we are, and our character won't be jeopardized by our current state. You know what I'm saying? So let's look at the Philippians chapter 4 verse 11. Not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am therewith to be content. I know both how to be abased and I know how to abound. Everywhere and in all things I am instructed both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer needs. You have to understand how to be abased and how to be abound, how to be brung down to a lower estate, how to have that humility and still be a servant. See, a lot of us will get brung down to a lower estate and be like, I can't do the work, or I can't do this, and I ain't fit to do that, and da 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 da, and you just get immobilized. You become stagnant because things aren't going the way that you want those things to go, or you feel they should go while you're doing the work of the Lord. And so you become stagnant. You become stagnant and you don't feel like it's worth it, because then you have to check your spirit. Are you in this thing for some, the most, you think the Most High is like some genie? Are you here trying to get a worldly reward? Or are you truly storing your treasures up? See, and that's what I'm saying, we have to understand the reciprocity of the kingdom. We have to understand the reciprocity of the kingdom. We have to understand what it truly means to store up heavenly treasures. And so when you understand that, you can be abased. You can be brung down to a lower state, knowing that that is giving you a greater deposit within the kingdom. It's giving you a greater deposit within the kingdom. You can make certain sacrifices. You can make certain sacrifices. But you can't do that if you don't have the humility, right? And so Paul being a Pharisee. Now, Paul used to be a Pharisee of Pharisees. And Pharisees were like superstars. You know what I'm saying? Pharisees were like lower level popes. You know what I'm saying? When they came to your certain part, you had to be of some stature for a Pharisee to attend any of your events. Or if a Pharisee came, he wasn't letting no peasants touch him and so forth. You know what I'm saying? They were people of power. They had some pull around the city being a Pharisee. Now when Paul went against the Pharisees and start preaching the gospel of Christ, he lost that ranking and was brung down to a low. He lost that stature that he had and was brung down to a lower state, but was granted a great deposit within the kingdom of heaven. We're even reading about him. We're even discussing him 2,000 years later. Sometimes when you have to be brought down to a lower state, and that has to happen sometimes, because there's some doors you can't get through without ducking down. There's some doors you can't get in without being humble. There's some doors that's just not gonna open up until you find some humility. and be able to climb and learn certain lessons and go through the wilderness of you ducking down that lower estate and gaining understanding so he can use you on another level. Some opportunities don't come with you standing tall in your pride, not wanting to go down to a lower stature, and so you stay stagnant. You stay stagnant because you too prideful to come down to that lower estate so you can get through this door. And I'm gonna tell you this, that it takes a person knowing himself to be able to know how to abase and abound. You see what I'm saying? A person knows himself. He knows exactly who he is. He's not a man pleaser. He's not a woman pleaser. He's only there for thus says the Lord. He's only there to do those things that are well pleasing in the eyes of the Father. And so he can abase and abound because he knows exactly who he is. He knows exactly what his purpose is. And his eyes are set on the kingdom. And so he can be brought down to a lower estate and not change, and still do the work, and still be zealous for the Lord. He can do that. But it's some brothers and sisters that can be brought down to that lower estate and they just become totally stagnant. I don't want nothing to do with that, but you see the conditioning that we in, and they only want to serve the Lord when things are going well. Come in smiling, man, you know, yeah, man, everything's straight now, man, everything's good. You know what I'm saying? Come to the door when they smile. Everything good, man, we great now, with the wood, and you can just tell these great stories. But when you was going through it, when you was in that storm, you was nowhere to be seen. You was nowhere to be seen because you felt you was humiliated. And it's a lot of brothers and sisters going through certain things, going through certain storms, dealing with it, but because they know how to abase, because they know how to be in that lower level, in that lower state, and still be committed to the Most High, you would never know. You would never know. But you thinking that they, man, you know, they don't never have no problems, man. Life just going good. Everything's going straight. They always smiling. They always seem happy. This is what Paul is saying in here, man. In whatever state I was in therewith, I learned how to be content. I learned how to be full and hungry. See, when you know yourself, like just like not Bill Gates, but Steve Jobs. You can throw Bill Gates in there too. Steve Jobs wore the same clothes every time. He wore the same clothes every day. He had a whole closet full of the same clothes. He understood. He didn't have to dress up to be. He knew who he was. He knew how rich he was. See, once you know how rich you are, when you know how truly rich you don't have to go out here and try to dress like you're rich. You don't have to go out here and do that. So when you enrich with the Spirit, when you understand who you truly are, see, a lot of us got a nationality. We know who our nationality is. We got our nationality, but we still don't have an identity. We still don't know who we are. Like, we still don't know who we are personally. We have the identity. We have, okay, yeah, I'm an Israelite, and then we start switching up. We start being somebody totally different. We start being the people that we watching on the videos. And so then we have a whole bunch of the same people saying the exact same thing, having the same personality. And then brothers and sisters get bugged out and you know what I'm saying, get tired and fall away because they faking it. Because they're not really being themselves. They're not really being who they truly are. And so when they are brought down to a lower state, it ain't worth the energy. It ain't worth the energy to keep faking it. You get frustrated. You get flustered. And again, dealing with the situation that we come into, dealing with this pandemic, some of us may be brought down to a lower state. And I don't want us to sit up here and blaming God or you know what I'm saying, thinking that, you know, you don't have to do this, or you should, you know what I'm saying, you falling away, or you stop coming to classes, or you stop coming to the feast days because you've fallen into a lower estate, because you can't do the things that you used to do, because you may not be seen as that person that the congregation used to see you as. You know what I'm saying? You have a lot of egos within churches and within camps. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people you used to can do a certain things. This person used to bring muffins and sodas every Sabbath. But now they've been brought to a lower state. They can't bring the muffins in the juices no more. Now they don't even want to come because they too humiliated about being brought to that lower estate. Don't get caught up in that. Don't get caught up in that, man. Have a sincere spirit. Have a sincere spirit. Understand that sometimes when you brought down to a lower estate, just like the couple videos I just did, that need is opportunity there. That necessity is opportunity there. That need training your faith. Sometimes you have to be brought down to get that faith increased, for your God to become bigger, so you can go down and read the next verse and get to the point where you say, my God, through Christ I can do all things. But until you understand how to abase and abound and know how to be content even when brought down to a lower estate, you're not going to get to that point. With that, I'm going to say shalom.